Hello, Michalis.
How are you, Javier?
I thought it was funnier to hear that I was a narcissist, but it's been quite a tough week. I've been pretty sad, to be honest.
Does it resonate with you? Do you feel that it's something that has truth in it?
Of course, it is. The sadness probably it's connected with the fact that I'm a little pissed off about not being able to see it. And I've been trying to observe how it is expressing itself in my life, and it's everywhere. Everywhere. I also try to just hide consuming pornography, consuming weed, and trying to hide from this reality. But still, of course, I couldn't. And I'm a little overwhelmed with the whole thing. It's about understanding that it's really a little ridiculous way of standing in the life and completely powerless. It's about, look, I'm here. It's just a reaction of my neurosis. So I'm completely not being myself. I feel that it's very ridiculous position.
First of all, let's start with this phrase. I'm realizing it's neurotic and I'm not being myself. Most of our behaviors are neurotic. If I would say none of our behavior is free, it would have been better. We are never choosing or acting really free or focused or relaxed. It's always a neurotic reaction. So what does it mean? That there is something happening on one side and then it's hitting us and we are behaving because of that in a certain way. So we are not really being ourselves in the flow of our natural moment or body, but our flow is always being, let's say, conditioned by the stimulus, the outside stimulus. We are always affected by, but conditioned is another thing. So we say, for example, if the wind is blowing, my hair will lose its shape. Yes. But if I would be barking at the wind or shouting obscenities or whatever, that's a different thing. So accepting or just adapting a behavior that is coming back to them, coming back to this with something. So this is our life in that sense. We're always reacting. And we say in pure flow, we just act. In neurosis, we always react. So there could be a just completely free action. And we're saying, this is what I want to do. This is what I decide at this moment. Or it could be a reaction. I cannot do it in a different way, or I have to be like this. I have to do that. Another factor to this story, which is that in most cases, it's never, let's say, conscious. So we are doing it and we don't even realize that we're doing it. We are thinking that this is our personality. This is how we do things. This is our way of living, let's say. That's why Jung used to talk about masks and this idea of really wearing something that is hiding our true identity. And the true identity is, of course, always the deeper, cleaner, brighter self. But we are always acting through the mask, always acting through this persona, let's say, this personality that we have created or has been created by our actions. And it's a personality of reactionism, let's say.
Once you see it as clear than I'm seeing it now, I think there's some sadness about this when you lose something, like when someone is dying. Grief, exactly, grief. So I think I'm on a grief.
Died then.
This part of me that is really like begging for acceptance is like open my eyes and fuck, man.
It's like this. You're seeing the dead body at this moment. You're seeing the personality that you do not agree with, or as your process is leading you, you're thinking, it's not something I would like to keep. And you're seeing the dead body, you're seeing the shit. And it's never a pleasant condition. It's never a pleasant state, never great.
And also reviewing the video that we recorded, also I got some insights too. One insight is that in some moment you asked me if I was using, and I didn't get a like question that you asked me about if I was trying to get money to buy love. And I did get it when I hear it. And it's also completely true that I want love and I have this connection. Okay, I'm gonna get money and then I will be able to get my love. So I was also like,
yeah, it works the other way around, because love used to be bought with money, with a connection with the father, which is also the action in the world. The animus archetype, as you want to say, is this type of, wow, today's a Jungian session, isn't it? Is this type of action going out in the world? So love and my business action or mail should go together. So could be also, I'm putting it in brackets just because I'm just straightforward. I'm in love with my work. I'm in love with me. I'm in love with my image, you can say. Narcissistic thing we're talking about last time in that sense, but just putting it more into.
it's lack of personal power. It's lack of self-esteem, it's lack of let's say.
It's not actually lack of power. There is power, but it's contaminated. It's contaminated power. That's why it's easy to create, let's say, perversions. When it's all about this one person that needs to get acceptance or love or satisfaction somehow, the relationship is not in balance in terms of the giving and receiving principle. So we just want to satisfy our desire, our need. And because we are learning that if we follow this path, there is satisfaction, there is gratification, this type of attitude also starts to expand into other people and to our attitudes in general with others or in the world. So morality or ethics go down a little bit also. These are some issues that might appear. So if you want to satisfy yourself, you might not think, but he's feeling bad that we will not be doing this, or maybe she didn't have an orgasm. Fucking cares. I had a lot of fun. So it all becomes a one-man game in that sense, in this process, because there is this gratification or because there is this recognition of who I am through this pleasure, let's say. So you see, it's a weird game. It's a kind of a little bit, it's, there's a little bit of perversion in this aspect, politely mentioning it. But there is, come to think of it, there is in all neurosis, but because somehow we get some kind of pleasure or safety or understanding that things are like that. And this gives us safety or reassurance. And in this reassurance, we are recognizing who we are. It's always perverted.
I've been also feeling that I have either a sadistic impulses or masochistic impulses.
How do you say this? In what context do you mention this?
For consumption of drugs, for instance, like doing something that is harmful. In this situation, they can call me to get my kidney in any time. I still spend like a few days like smoking weed and in a addictive mode, let's say.
So who are you being sadistic towards?
With me.
With yourself. Okay.
With myself, and there's a few behaviors that I think that they're reinforcing the idea that I shouldn't be here. So that they're like self-destructive ideas or behavior.
So you see, Satan has to have some kind of pleasure. In this sadistic thing that you're describing, there needs to be some kind of pleasure from the destruction, is there? Because if it's not, maybe it's not actually sadism. What about, so you were saying also a masochistic attitude, maybe?
I don't deserve like the good things. No, I shouldn't deserve to be here. Now, when I'm smoking and I'm not enjoying anymore because it's like being not coherent with my choices. It's just examples of my lack of determination. And also in a moral way, I think also it's a little bit like despiting life, behaving like I shouldn't be here, but I think life is not something important. Like I don't value life or something like that.
I disagree with this last bit. I think it's, or at least my understanding is, there is a need to connect somehow. There is a need to touch the world in a better way. The sensation that is not worth it or whatever is what you're feeling already. But the action of going fast is trying to connect, trying to feel like you were saying. So also there is the narcissistic, let's say, aspect in the personality, as you might be accepting, or some parts of it. But there's also this aspect that wants to touch the world, feel more, because there is a schizoid body structure, this armor that you're experiencing, that is not allowing contact, real contact and connection, because there's been this separation and rejection. So one is trying to feed the other. Actually, the narcissistic tendency, I think, is grown from that, of wanting to touch the world and receive some kind of feedback from it. And as I was saying, the kind of perversion of the pleasure that comes from it. So, yeah, kind of neuroses don't go by themselves. We say that in a person, there are about 5 main complexes, alien complexes, like behavior, structure, that would define the personality, and a few hundreds more. You're thinking, oh, this is my problem. And who knows, you might be into the pile of hundreds, or you might be touching the 5 main ones. But in most cases, what, at least in your case, what we are describing is the pile of 5, I would say. So yeah, you're touching the core in this sense. Just to put the previous sensations that you brought when we started, it's always natural to feel like there's, oh my God, look what I've been doing. Look at this behavior. I don't want this, or I feel it's not coherent with what I like in my life, or I'm not really that person. Why? So this is always natural. And it's always a good step, let's say, in therapy, that you're somehow seeing the shit. And then, of course, the grief, this type of attitude that says, oh, there's a lot of sadness and I want this to go. But really need to keep the light that exists in this personality. I was saying there's this narcissist or this schizoid type of thing, and the issue is not that he exists or that this mask is being put on the self, is why. So the moment we get the answer for this would be a moment to really let go. The grieving will stop in that sense, because you will have taken what there is to be taken from this attitude. Is this making sense?
I don't know if I got that.
I'm just describing the process of therapy. So right now, yes, you're feeling this, that something is dying or has died. Once you receive the knowledge of who or what that thing was, what was the message into all this personality, this grieving will stop. You would have taken the knowledge and you would be able to continue. So I'm saying this is temporary. This will pass. When you realize why this personality was adapted. So you want to have a go at some ideas on why. You know a little bit about the love and the thing with the father we've talked about last time. Any other ideas or things that you might want to bring up, or just thoughts that are coming now?
Basically, what I'm feeling right now is that I'm a little scared about not knowing what I will become, let's say. My identification is with this personality, being rejected or being narcissistic or just so. Now that I'm more free to choose, why do I choose? Also this week, I've been connecting with the whole idea about being scared of love. When I'm getting to myself and be like really leading my life and not behaving based on what others think about me, why do I choose? It's about being a little scared about freedom and about love.
Hey, you've seen this movie Trainspotting, yes? Yeah. Remember how it finishes? It says, "I'm moving on and choosing life." Do you remember this line?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is what I suggest. Move on and choose life. And how you do that is you try and surrender. You try and surrender to life, you try and surrender to the moment, you don't try to control anything. So life is still there, things are still happening. You have been experienced life with this specific personality, with this attitude, and that's okay. The remedy for this attitude is surrendering the control, if you like it in one phrase. Surrendering the control. It means I do not try and do things or get things done or be something. Just relax. So next time you're in a situation that you're recognizing this personality, just say to yourself, you don't need to do anything. Just relax. Just let it go. For example, you're thinking, this should be like this and that, and then I will say this and that. Or maybe you're with a female partner and you're trying to drive the situation somehow, or with your business partner and you're trying to create like a kind of, I know in business it's a little different. There are many things involved and you don't want to destroy your life or the money flow, but it is important to somehow observe how this personality is arriving in any case, you know, how it's appearing. So if it's appearing to receive something, if it's appearing to control, then you say, nah, I'm just letting go. So if, let's say, I was safe enough, I would not do much in terms of, I know you have been having your problems with your partner and all that. I would say, okay, let the fucking thing blow up in flames. Let's see. Why do I need to support all this so heavily and be the person who drives it? And why do I need to be the good one or whatever? Or I don't need to drive it all the time. I'm choosing a better partner. Or fuck this shit. I'm trying too much. You see, this type of attitudes are the attitudes we should try. In this aspect of always, I'm the best, I can do it, look at me, look at how I manage, I will take care of it, I know how to do it. In all these type of attitudes, the response is, shh. This is what you should be saying to yourself. Shh. You don't take the lead. You don't say your opinion. You don't try and guide the condition. You don't decide where we eat. You don't tell me what is right or wrong. You just shh. This is the attitude. Like a bad parrot talking to you. Shut up, you little shit. So this is what happens with neurosis, you see. I consider them as spoiled kids. So when you are seeing them, like you're seeing what they're doing, and you have consciously decided on another thing, then you just fuck off. You fuck off. Or you can say not kids, or like bad dogs, like bad pets. This is better so that I don't sound cruel. I'm not giving into that. So you just adopt this type of attitude, which is stop the automatic, and since you know, you don't follow. You don't follow. You don't say it. You don't take charge. Surrender is the word. Surrender, move on, choose what comes, and just relax with everything. Because you see, the narcissistic personality wants everything to reaffirm him. So everything has to come back to me and show how fucking great I am. And everything has to serve me. And always, I need to be the best one. Everything has to happen for me. You see, this is the general basis of it. So, no, it doesn't have to be always for me. I don't have to be the best. I don't have to choose. I don't have to enforce anything. So if you think I'm a good person, good, you hang out with me. If you don't hang out with me, it doesn't mean anything. I don't have to make you like me in that sense. And if you're not attracted to me, let's say with a partner, then who gives a fuck? I don't care. I don't want to win you over. And you're not an important person because I will be satisfied somehow. My need for being approved or finally seen will be satisfied. I don't need to be seen. You have seen. This person who wants all that, you have seen him. This is the week that you've been going through. You have seen him. Okay, put him in his place, like a bad dog or like a spoiled child. And say, okay, you bastard can fuck off. And now, let's see, let's make this more healthy. Let's just relax. So this is one way. You will possibly feel that things are not going well, that things are even worse, because exactly what has been driving you and fueling you for life now needs to be treated differently. It doesn't mean that you will never return to an attitude of taking the wheel or going the way that you like or whatever. It is this process of trying to clean this behavior, because the impulsiveness is what in our nature exists. We are impulsive as creatures. The idea is you will have again your impulse for life and act freely, but at this stage you have to clean the automatic behavior. And this is how you clean it. You have to stop the automatic behavior first of all. And this is the shh. No. Now I have the impulse to say something or buy something or be a certain way. Let's see what will happen if I don't do it. Like checking, like even checking at this stage. You can say, what if I don't do this? I had this friend, we used to share a house at some point, and at some point the toilet got stuck. So the person to fix it came and said, look, you guys, you cannot throw stuff into the toilet because the system is a very old system and it's really delicate, and any little thing that might get stuck will make the toilet overflow. So never throw any paper again or anything in the toilet and you'll be fine. So yeah, perfect. I didn't do anything. And at some point the toilet overflows. So I go to him and I say, man, what happened? And he says, nothing. Did you throw anything in the toilet? He said, I did. I said, but why? Because I wanted to check and see if what he was saying was real. So I threw a little paper and it overflew. Oh, really? It's this type of attitude. Yeah. So let's see, throw a little paper. Throw a little paper and let's see what happens in life. Maybe by doing this different attitude, you'll discover. And it's not only...
Now with the sadness is also a feeling of being dumb, being really stupid. And it's something that being so perfectionistic also and being so demanding on myself, I think it's something that I'm also using to harm me. Not feeling, okay, good, I'm realizing things, I'm evolving, I'm compromised.
But it is the contrast. So you're feeling very smart and great, adapting the neurotic behavior. And when we cut the neurotic behavior, oh shit, I'm not worth it. Even it could be the addiction, or you say the usage of drugs or whatever, is a way of cutting this I'm the best kind of thing and knowing it and keep on doing it. Sometimes it is for that. Let's say, so if you're not the best one, the smartest one, and if you're not so happy from all the things that you're doing, then what are you? I'm fucking sad. I'm fucking mourning. Of course. But it's from the changing of the behavior. And you've only started observing. Of course, by observing, sometimes you stop the process of some things happening. So you say, nah, fuck it, you're not going to masturbate again, or you're not going to go again. You're not going to take charge again. You're not going to tell them again that what your thoughts are, or whatever it is, or you're not going to do this to show that you're so great, for example. And then, of course, if you're not expressing, this ego is not being expressed, then we're having problems. Exactly what you're dealing with right now. So As again, I'm saying it's welcome. It's good. In this process, it's good. It's the reaction to not feeling this high from my actions. So I'm not the best one in the group. Why is not everybody looking at me again? It's this type of attitude. And of course, you're realizing it first, because you're stopping from the actions that give that kind of attention, pleasure. It will pass. This too shall pass. The issue is what is behind it. A few things from your history, behavior of being the center or receiving exactly what you wanted, a kind of spoiled attitude for the father not being present, for example, could be an idea. This kind of wanting to attract all the looks on you because you haven't been treated the right way.
And also because my mother, I came to this disease because my mother took me to the wrong doctor and they made some mistakes that lead my mother to just feel, I think, guilty because I was suffering so much. And she was trying to just give me whatever I wanted.
Also, another thing that comes from this, it's very good that you mention it like this, is that she was wrong, that she made a mistake. And also this idea that if I let go, and you always let go with your parents, so you allow them, if I let go, they can fuck up. It's also this, that she made this mistake and you were fragile, you were a child, and somehow this is building up the idea that I know, they don't exactly know, I know this has happened. Look, now I'm taking the matter to my hands. I know how to do it. I know how to act. And if I trust them, maybe they fuck up.
I get very pissed off when someone is making a mistake and I have this behavior like they deserve a castigo, a punishment. And I feel like, what the fuck are you? You're not have compassion. You're getting really, this little stupid thing is leading you to just feel so pissed off and connect with a lot of anger. And then to the feeling that they deserve a punishment for this stupid thing that is just about not being able to let people be human.
It comes from this attitude of the mother, from her mistake of going to the wrong doctors or listening the wrong advice. And there's this issue also of safety and all that. I wouldn't be surprised if some of the emotions that you are experiencing with partners or with colleagues might be you are not being competent enough and you are threatening my position.
That's a good one.
Yeah. So it is there. Of course, I take matters to my own hands and I know that would be safe and I will not get fucked up by you.
I feel also probably one of the core things then is trust. And also it's connected with that I don't trust myself to just be responsible with myself and take care of me. And also I'm projecting like, don't trust anyone.
It starts from others.
Enough.
I think it starts from not trusting others. And then a kind of insecurity if or how I need to act, trusting myself or dealing with myself. But for sure, it's coming from others first. They do not know, they are dangerous, they can fuck me up. And I do not trust them. And of course, then there's no kind of understanding how I need to deal with myself, with myself. So yeah, there are some issues there, but it's coming because the relationship is with the mother. The thing is starting from the mother. The neurotic issue is related with the mother. The situation is creating is fragile in terms of support and holding, nurturing, safety, but at the same time, with the connection that you had with the father being absent, some of these attributes were already kind of balance. So it's create like a dynamite condition in terms of how it defines your personality as it is today, I think you wouldn't have escaped being a different personality.
It's feeling of being alone. So my father is absent. I cannot trust my mother. What the fuck do I do?
Yeah. So you have to trust yourself, put a lot of intent into being good at things. You also are very, let's say, careful when it comes to friends, with all this calling you names and things like that because of the thing you were wearing. So it's easy to disconnect, keep yourself away from the world and try and be the best you can, so that maybe the world would recognize you for what you know yourself to be. And it's a kind of revenge, let's say, in brackets. Now you bastards all will see how good I am, how good I can do it, and I'm worth it. As this is what I was saying before, it couldn't have been any different the way that the situation evolved in your life. Sometimes there are feelings like, oh, I could have done this differently, or I could have been like this, or I don't think the conditions are pretty pretty heavy, driving the personality to a certain type of response. So I'm not saying that your response is a healthy response, but it's a survival response, as in most cases.
Yeah, that's why also like I feel very full and relaxed, and I have a sense of control in my own space, and try to have the tendency to isolate me with my books and with my things and my studying and with my spirituality.
That's why you discover new things all the time, and things fascinate you, and you are in this world of always touching different things and all that, because the stimuli are important for your sanity.
So what do I do?
What to do?
Back to the thing about having a true connection with others.
The true connection comes from not having an agenda and not trying to control. So here I am. I admit my weakness. I show you what my true self is. I do not expect anything. I surrender to this condition without me having the first say, the control. I allow myself for life to come at me like it's not threatening me, as it normally is. Like the ocean doesn't feel that like it's threatening you when the waves are hitting you. The ocean is just coming. You see, it's doing its thing. Life is doing its thing. No need to be on guard all the time for life, just in case. Life will do its thing. And in that sense, security or safety never existed. Never. From the moment we were born till right now, we are alive due to a continuation of consequences or consequential facts. It's just a miracle that we're still alive. How many times you could have been killed on a motorcycle, or you swallowed something, or drank something, or almost OD'd on some shit, whatever, could have happened. And if not, the piano didn't fall right at your head or after you, or the wave didn't pull you down, all that shit. It's just a miracle that we are alive. The point is that we take things very personally. Life is coming and we're thinking, life is hitting me. No, the ocean is just coming. It's not during that, oh, poor Javier is right at the shore, I'm gonna fuck him up real good now. No, life does not work with this intention. So the whole idea is not sitting there and waiting, now let's see who will attack me, or now I will protect myself from this or that. The idea is there are waves, surf them. If you are afraid to be in the water, get out of the water, but the water will never stop coming. So really, if you want to live, you just have to let it happen.
Yeah. Yeah, and something also happened with also, it's very narcissistic, but I found very boring most of the people, because I'm allowed to have all this information, all this knowledge, all these things that I'm interested. I have the tendency to completely analyze on a psychological level, to know, okay, I understand what is happening to her, what he should do or she should do. Is okay, I'm gonna section these people in relationship. I'm completely analyzing like crazy, and also behaving like I know what is going on with them. So it's horrible. It's just something that I think is very harmful for both of us, having a true interest in the really simple things, not really like to get very deep in everything spiritual, profound on everything, and being able to connect with someone in more, I don't know if it's the surface, because I don't think it's just about in the surface. It's just about being interested about little things, how they're doing, about their feelings.
Exactly. So I have a practice for this, and I will give you to finish for today, but I also want to explain a little bit. The more we move on the spiritual path, which is spiritual, is therapy, some kind of religious discipline, or anything for that matter, evolving in life, I call this spiritual. So anytime we're on this type of path and we really grow, we get in touch with a sense of personal wisdom, or a sense of knowing, let's say, because it's not really knowledge, it's knowing, the act of knowing. Is you're always connected with Google. You don't need to type the search phrase and whatever. This is knowing. So what happens is that as we acquire our knowledge or our capacity of knowing, the world as we knew it before, with our previous ego or personality, tends to be or sound sometimes a little boring or dull. Like we know what will happen, or we know what it is. This is an intermediate stage, because what really happens is that, like you see in Taoism, there's always like a connotation with the world, with what I was doing before, with the waves and all that. If you're looking at the waves, you have the sea in front of your house all day, and you look at the waves, they're just waves, they just keep on coming. This is just boring. This is how it is. But when you really allow for a deeper connection with all of this, it becomes like a symbol or a universal, let's say, flow of knowledge. So this, as we grow, happens with everyone. Like a person sitting far across you and doing stupid things. And as we mature and grow, our personality starts to perceive knowledge in all experiences in life. So we're picking up on a certain thing. We are understanding one little detail about us or about the world. And it's just a person saying stupidity. What usually happens is also with friends. The friends that you used to hang out with, you watched football or had a joint together, now are no more interesting. And you need to be with similar-minded people to feel okay, not to have fun, to feel okay. So what happens is the more we grow, it doesn't matter who is on the other end of the sofa or sitting in front of us. There's always a reflection of the self into everything, and there's always knowledge and pleasure everywhere. So it's not that he doesn't agree with me or whatever. You learn something new all the time. So because we don't have a lot of time, but let me suggest a quick practice, at least until we meet next time. Have I given you the practice of observing beauty in the world?
No.
Okay, please make a note so that I give you this practice next time. Okay, but what I will give you now is like a preliminary to this. Let me make a quick story. I had my first teacher, or one of my first teachers, was not a special person, just a normal everyday guy, but somehow has a lot of wisdom. His soul is very mature, let's say this. And he doesn't have any spiritual profession. He's an industrial designer. That's his work. It's like, he's not spiritual in any way in that sense. But as living with this friend of mine, he would get impressed by everything. This I would never, at that stage, I could never get it. Like he would hold up this cup and say, man, like he was drinking, yeah, and say, man, look at the combination of colors on this. Isn't this amazing? And the way they've curved the top so that you can catch it in this, and this straw, like the colors, like perfect for everything, no? And I love the way the little beauty forms at the bottom of my cup, and I would really, at that time, I would listen and would say, are you fucking mad or what? Are you mental? What the fuck are you talking about? There is nothing beautiful about that shit. It's just useful. No, but look at the lines. Look how they form. And these circles, they give you this impression that you're holding this. And man, there was this point that I finally got it. Appreciating everything is the only way that you can make yourself understand it. You cannot say, yeah, this is the USB cable lens, whatever. No, you have to go deep to it, appreciate it. And this way you can know what the fuck it's all about. But it's not about learning. It's about appreciating. How is this useful for me? So to understand its use, or if it's useful in any way, because the other aspect that I want to cover next time is beauty. It doesn't matter if it's useful, it's fucking beautiful. And beauty has the highest form of, let's say, how's the English word? Let's say usage in the world. It's all about beauty. It's all about how beauty appears in the world. The top action is beauty. Exactly. Exactly. Yes, very good. So this is it. You don't live with your hands and your mind. Start putting the heart into the things. So allow yourself to be amazed. This is how we start. Allow yourself to be amazed. You can start with objects of desire. You hold your weed and you look at the beauty of it, or the little crystals or whatever, or you see the sunset and you just, oh my God. And then the idea is there is a very specific practice to work with it. But for now, I'm saying start appreciating everything that you consider granted. So yeah, there should be a cup to hold my coffee, but man, this is a nice cup. The flowers and the deconstruction of this kind of painting they have on it, and the different colors and how they put the emphasis in the flower, not the background, but the background really supports it. That's great thing to drink your coffee in it, isn't it? So I would suggest try for some time, and now it's a good period because it's also too many stimuli due to the holidays. And you'll have a lot to observe. Maybe it pisses you off a little bit, but
yeah, and it's funny because normally I'm not very fond of the Christmas, the whole thing, like about consumption, about like people getting crazy about buying things, being disconnected from the whole spiritual thing. So it will be a good side.
But really observe the little things for now. The little things, the ones that pass unnoticed. These are the ones that are important. And if you, the big you, the important you, the beautiful you, the one who is worthy of receiving everyone's attention, who can create, who is an artist, who is whatever, can start giving attention to the smallest particles, to the littlest, more dullest, to the everyday shit that become unnoticed, then everything would be important. Everybody would be important. It has a practice to continue. This is like the first step, but it's a step that keeps on helping the practice. And I will share it with you next time because it needs about half an hour to develop it. But it's really a complete practice. It's actually a liberation practice, and it is all about beauty and recognizing beauty in life.
Great.
But this little step of it will really make a difference. Try and really push yourself to do it. It will not come natural because we are conditioned to overlook the small things. So maybe you put it in your schedule, like every time a day, you choose a really worthless little shit and praise it.
I'm happy about the process. I think I still need to just be like more compromised about getting in touch with my body, but still have like a common ground on what is the deal here. And yeah, I understand it much better myself, and that's the point.
With the two things that we saw today, just the and keeping the bad kid, the bad animal in the corner, and just allowing life to continue, and recognizing the little things. You have also a lot to apply in everyday life in your range with people, all that. So I think it might be helpful to have these days to apply these and see how it works.
Yeah,
together with everything else that you already have.
Okay, thank you, man.
Thank you, Javier. Have a
Nice one.
Merry Christmas, a nice starting of the new year. Hope things go.
I have the feeling that it will be a good year.
Let's hope. We need it. We all need it.
Thank you for your help. You're helping me a lot.
See you soon.
Thank
Time
you.
flies. Bye.